Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and today is the day that we start work on the BMW 760 Li. Now the very first thing that I want to do before anything else is an oil change, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit nervous, because looking back at the service history, the last input in the service history was around 3 years ago, maybe 3.5 years ago, and that was like, I think 30 odd thousand miles ago. So I'm hoping, I'm praying to God that it has had an oil change since then. If not, then yeah, we could be in for not a very nice sight today. I'm going to expect to see a lot of sludge and whatever else. So yeah, let's hope that is not the case. But yeah, I guess we should get outside, get the car up in the air, get the car up to temp, and yeah, go ahead and drop the oil. Okay, so I've got the engine up to temperature. I actually just took it for a little drive, and what I'm going to do is actually dump one of these engine flushers in, just to hopefully try and break down any of the sludge build up. So yeah, we'll go ahead and drop this in here, and then what we'll do is run the engine for around 10 to 15 minutes, and hopefully this can circulate and essentially break down any sludge. So we'll just pour this right in. And there we go then, so the engine is now fired up. That engine flush should be circulating and kind of doing its job. In the meantime, I'm going to get this thing up in the air on some jack stands and get ready for the oil change. Okay then, so the car has been idling for 10-15 minutes or so. As you can see, it's now up in the air as well. Now the oil filter is right next to the oil drain plug, so let's head underneath the car and get that undone right now. Okay then, so as you can see, here we have the oil drain plug, and right here we have the oil filter. Now on these oil filters, because it's underneath, if you just go ahead and remove the oil filter itself, you're just going to make a huge mess. There is actually a drain plug on it. This is a 6mm Allen bolt, and the main oil drain plug itself is a 8mm. So we'll go ahead and remove the oil filter one first. I've already cracked it loose. This thing was in here pretty tight. Okay. It does have an O-ring on, and there comes the oil. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and remove the oil filler cap on the top of the engine. Okay, it looks a bit black, but it's not the worst oil I've ever seen. When it's splashing around, you can see it does have a slight bit of colour in, which is good. What we don't want to see is a bunch of chunks come out. Okay, we'll go ahead and reinstall the plug for the oil filter. You can imagine, if you wasn't to remove this, just how much mess it would create. So make sure you do use this if you have a drain plug on your oil filter. Now it's time for the main one. Let's just hope it's not been over tightened, which I'm sure it has. Oh Jesus, wait, I hope that didn't just snap, please. Oh no, I thought that snapped for a minute then. It seems to be coming out. Oh, there we go. That's nice and warm. Oh crap, I hope this container's... I don't think this container's big enough. I need to put this back in somehow. That could have got real messy. Look how full this container is. Yeah, I don't think this is 10 litres. I think this container is probably more like 7, maybe 8. But yeah, we need to go empty this and then drain out the rest. Okay, so went ahead and emptied the container, so we can proceed in draining the rest of the oil. Yeah, that really could have got messy if it overflowed. Because there's still quite a bit more left to come out, I think. And while the oil is finishing draining, I can go ahead and crack the oil filter loose. It takes a 24mm socket. Let's see how tight this is on. Not actually very tight at all. Here we are. And remove the filter from the housing. And yeah, looks like it's collapsed a bit. Drop that in there. Now I'm just going to let all of that finish draining completely. And in the meantime then, I'm going to get the oil filter ready. So I'm going to give this a good clean out because there is some residue left in the cap. I've also removed the dipstick. I like to give that a good clean up as well. And of course the sump plug, that needs a new copper washer on it, so we'll go ahead and remove that. I'm just using a cheap oil filter. This is only going to be in for 2 or 3 weeks or so, and then I'm going to be dropping the oil again and then replacing this out for a good quality Bosch or MAN filter. I need to remove the O-ring from the oil filter cap, like so. Let's make sure there is actually a new O-ring in this. Yeah, it looks like it. There's the filter. There's the new, oh, there's 2 new O-rings. That's because there is an O-ring on the oil filter drain plug, of course. So we'll swap that out as well. This has gone very, very hard and brittle. I'm going to guess that this has been on there for a very long time. Like I said, not many people use this, but I do. When I do the next oil change, I will more than likely be replacing both of these because, yeah, they're probably the original. So yeah, it's just as well that these get changed, but not today. We just need to get fresh oil and the fresh oil filter in. I suppose I should give this a good clean out. Now we'll start installing our new O-rings. Start with the plug one first, and of course the oil filter cap, main O-ring. And it sits in this groove. Make sure it goes in the correct one, so I shall have a major oil leak. I'll just give this a good clean up again. We can reinstall our plug and then install our new oil filter. Should just push in. There we are, nice and secure. And of course we can install our fresh copper washer on the sump plug. There we are. Now I'm just going to pour some oil in here. I'm not going to try and fill it up to the max, but I'm just going to, could say, half fill it, just so this doesn't run dry for the first start up. That'll do. Have some oil in there now. Let's get this reinstalled back onto the car. And as you can see, it's finished draining now, so I'm going to go ahead and reinstall the drain plug. And before I reinstall
the oil filter. I'm just going to give the housing a little bit of a clean. And now we'll install our new filter. Push it on. And now we'll tighten down the sump plug to 25 Newton meters. And as well, the oil filter cap, that's got to be taut down to 25 Newton meters. And then the oil filter drain plug, that is just 10 Newton meters. Now let's just give everything a good clean down. And now all that's left to do is get this thing back on the ground and get it filled up with oil. So then the engine should hold around 9 litres of oil. Obviously we already have a little bit in the oil filter, and chances are when you drain it you're not going to drain every last drop. So I'm going to go ahead and put 8 litres in, and then I'll check the dipstick. Now one full jug of these is just over 5 litres, so I'm going to put the entire one of these in, and then we'll put about another 2 to 3 litres in, and then we'll go ahead and yeah, like I said, check the dipstick. Okay, so we have around 8 litres in there right now. I'm going to check the dipstick, and the dipstick is just below the maximum. It's there. I'm going to top that up to the maximum, and then we can yeah, get this thing fired up. So we're right on the maximum on the dipstick then. Let's go ahead and get this thing fired up. Let's check for leaks. So I've switched the engine off then. Now what I'm going to do is let the oil drain back down to the sump, and we will check the oil level once again. Okay then, so that is the oil change done on the BMW 760 Li. Now like I said, I will be doing another one in a couple of weeks or so. I want to put a couple 100 miles on it. It's pretty hard to say if the last oil change was like 30 to 40,000 miles ago. I mean, you know, the oil was very black, but it kind of seemed like it still had some viscosity to it, and when you put your hand through it, it did have a little bit of colour in it. The most concerning thing was the collapsed oil filter. You usually get that when there's too much build-up in pressure and essentially the filter can't do its job. So I don't know how long it's been like that for, but I'm just glad that we now have fresh oil and a fresh oil filter in there. And yeah, that's the main worry really. I did have a good look underneath the car as well, and it doesn't look like we have many leaks of any fluids. I did notice the what was it, the anti-roll bar. I did notice there was a bit of a drippage around that, so I don't know, it could be a power steering leak of some kind. But yeah, I'm just glad the oil change is done now. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are excited for more videos on this car to come on the channel. Please give this video a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I will see you all in that next one. Peace!